All right. Today I'll be talking about STSE, disease and optics. So I'll be talking about melanoma, the disease and technology for it. So melanoma is a dangerous form of skin cancer that becomes deadly if it is not detected early enough. The technology I'm focusing on is ultra black surface imaging, which is an optical advancement using diagnostic devices. Ultra black materials absorb between 99 and 99.9% of incoming light, meaning there is almost no reflection that comes back. When these materials are placed inside medical imaging tools, such as demoscope, diagnostic cameras, or microscopes, they remove scattered and stray light that have normally reduces clarity. Without these stray reflections, without these stray reflections, the devices produces images that have extremely sharp contrast and clear differences between healthy skin and cancerous tissue. Ultra black interior surfaces highlight slight color variations, tiny irregular borders, and small pigment changes that are typically invisible under normal imaging conditions. Because melanoma often begins with very subtle changes on the skin, which basically means it's very hard to notice it at the first, they increase clarity from ultra black imaging, which helps doctors detect early growth sooner of the disease. So early visibility directly increases the chance of survival, since treatment is most effective before melanoma spreads deeper into the body. Now we have the organ systems affected, which makes melanoma, which makes melanoma dangerous. So melanoma mainly affects the into integumentary system, which includes the skin. The cancer begins in melanocytes, the pigment-producing cells located in the basal layer of the epidermis. When these melanocytes experience mutations, they start dividing uncontrollably and form an irregular dark spot or even a mole. As the tumor grows do- downward into the dermis, it begins to damage collagen, interfere with nerves, and mainly destroy healthy tissue around it. After invading the dermis, melanoma cells can break away and enter the lymphatic system. Once the cancer travels through lymph cells and reaches lymph nodes, the disease usually progresses to a more advanced stage. If the melanoma continues spreading even further, it can enter the bloodstream and travel to organs such as your liver, your lungs, your brain, or bones. This becomes life-threatening. Life-threatening. Ultraviolet imaging improves the chances of catching melanoma before it spreads. It enhances color visibility and border definition on the skin so doctors can identify suspicious spots at the earliest possible stage. Now, we have the specific cell type. So, melanoids are the most important cells involved in melanoma. The normal role is to produce melanin, the pigment that gives the skin its color and protects it from ultraviolet radiation. Melanoma develops when melanocytes receive mutations that cause them to divide uncontrollably instead of producing pigment in a regulated way. These mutated melanocytes begin forming irregular masses that disrupt healthy skin structure and can invade surrounding tissues. Ultra black surface imaging is directly connected to these detecting abnormal melanocyte activity because the improved contrast allows clinicians to see unusual pigment patterns, uneven distribution, or suspicious clusters that might indicate early tumor formation. Early identification of abnormal melanocytes is critical because it influences biopsy decisions and determines how quickly treatment should begin. And as you can see in almost all my slides, I've included images about what I'm talking about. And also my slides again, they're very concise version of what I'm talking about because my script is much bigger than my slides. Now, we will be talking about slide 2C, which is the system summary. So I'll just be summarizing. Melanoma starts in melanocytes located in the epidermis and forms a dark abnormal lesion in the skin. As it grows deeper, it reaches the dermis, damaging tissues such as collagen, fibers, and nerve endings. After entering the dermis, it can enter the lymphatic system, causing swollen lymph nodes as it travels through lymph vessels. If melanoma reaches the circulatory system, you're in problem because it can travel to major organs such as your liver, your lungs, bones, or even brain. Once it starts spreading that far, complications can again become life-threatening. Because melanoma is capable of moving through several body systems quickly, early detection is very essential for survival. Ultra black imaging helps reveal small pigment changes on the skin before the cancer reaches deeper tissues, giving doctors time to act very early and save your life. Alright, now this is our most important slide in my opinion, which would basically be the signs, symptoms, and prevention. Now, I've kind of given a concise explanation of this in the document or in the slides, and I've given some images of it, but I'm going to be talking about it more detailedly here. So the earliest signs of melanoma appear on the skin, mainly on the skin, obviously. A new mole or any existing mole that begins changing in size, shape, or color can be a very good early warning. Changes such as as asymmetry, uneven borders, or multiple colors within the same lesion are all concerning. The colors that can include brown, black, red, white, or blue. And actually, I've posted a kind of an image here, right over here, near the sunscreen of a person's leg. You can see it's kind of bluish, and it's kind of a more different color that's more concerning. So, a lesion larger than 6 millimeters or one that becomes itchy or tender may also indicate melanoma development. Ultra black imaging is powerful in this state because it highlights extremely small differences in color or pattern that standard cameras cannot detect. If melanoma spreads, later symptoms may include a bleeding mole, enlarged lymph nodes, long-lasting fatigue, bone pain, difficulty breathing when the cancer reaches the lungs, and neurological symptoms such as headaches or seizures when it reaches the brain. Prevention focuses on safe sun behavior, such as consistent sunscreen use, wearing protective clothing, avoiding tanning beds, no tanning beds, and performing regular skin self-checks, and following UV index alerts to reduce exposure during high UV days. Now you may be wondering, how do public health strategies have to do with this? Well, there's a lot. Public health organizations try to reduce melanoma rates through education and awareness. Groups such as the Canadian Cancer Society and Public Health Ontario provide information about how UV radiation damages skin cells, and how to recognize early melanoma signs. Schools and community centers provide support sun safety education by reminding students how to avoid tanning beds, how they should wear sunscreen all year, and check their skin for changes. UV index alerts on weather apps and news channels help protect people on days when sunlight is very strong. From my own experience, schools often remind students to apply sunscreen before outdoor activities, and families pay attention to UV warnings during the summer. These public health strategies connect directly to my community because they give constant reminders that help people understand the risks and take steps to protect their skin. Okay, and now in slide 5, I'll be talking about the technology history and development. So, ultra black surface technology became important in medical imaging in the early 2000s. These materials are designed to absorb nearly all incoming light and remove internal reflections inside diagnostic tools, such as digital dermoscopes and high contrast skin scanners. Stray light usually lowers image quality, which is a huge problem, but ultra black surfaces eliminate this problem entirely, allowing the devices to produce much clearer and more detailed images. This improved contrast makes it easier for doctors to identify very small changes in color and extremely subtle border irregularities that might indicate early melanoma. Since early detection strongly increases survival chance by a lot, this technology is valuable for catching melanoma before it becomes dangerous. Researchers continued working on next generation coatings such as carbon nanotube based ultra black surfaces, which are the ultimate, which may increase sensitivity even more and improve microscopic detection. While these materials do not treat melanoma, they improve diagnostic accuracy and helps doctor decide faster whether a lesion needs a biopsy, preventing cancer from reaching later stages. Now, we have another important slide we have to talk about, and that is the ethical axis of it. So, The equity access basically tells us that a major ethical issue with ultra black imaging is that not everyone has equal access to it. These devices are expensive to produce and are usually located in urban hospitals or specialized clinics. People living in rural or low income areas may not have access to the standard imaging, which is less accurate and might miss early melanoma signs because their standard imaging is not as strong as ultra black surfaces. Now this is a huge inequality because you don't get the latest tech, and this increases the risk of late diagnosis and lower survival rates. Early melanoma detection has a much higher survival rate, and by a lot, while late stage detection is far more dangerous. Because of that, access to high quality imaging can influence someone's chance of survival by a lot. My recommendation is to continue improving ultra black imaging, but also focus on making the devices affordable and more accessible to other people. Government support or health organization funding could help bring the technology into underserved communities. The ethical goal is to reduce inequality so that everyone receives the same chance at early diagnosis. And now we'll be talking about social implications with this. So, again, the uneven distribution of ultra black imaging affects society in multiple ways. People in urban or wealthy communities have greater access to this advanced imaging, which means they benefit from earlier and more accurate melanoma detection. Meanwhile, rural populations, lower income groups, or regions with fewer medical resources may receive later diagnosis and less precise imaging. Detecting melanoma on darker skin tones can already be challenging, and the lack of advanced imaging in certain areas makes this inequality worse. Older adults who do not see dermatologists frequently may also miss early detection opportunities. People with private insurance, though, or financial stability, can access specialized clinics sooner, while others may wait longer for appointments. These differences show that even medical technology cannot benefit everyone if it is not distributed fairly. Public health strategies and improved access are needed to ensure that all communities receive the same life saving opportunities. Now, what is my intake on this? Well, personally, I haven't struggled with these issues at all, but I recognize that innovation must be fair with fair access so everyone benefits equally.